Listen to the wind blow, down comes the night.
I am not gonna get knocked around ever again, okay?
I think we're all done being knocked around.
Break the silence, damn the dark, damn the light.
People are waiting for somebody to show up and deal with him.
We could run the kitchen.
And if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. I can still hear you saying you will never break the chain. And if you don't love me now, you will never love me again. I can still hear you saying you will never break the chain.
Step off my business.
Baby, it's my business now.
Rated R.
6 Charlie, take 1. Amar.
Take a mark. Yeah, or whatever.
That's true, but you.
Can I get a part of that?
Wonder Twin powers activate.
Form
Form of.
Your hand slowly away.
Form of.
Planet.
Wait, do it hold my hand.
Like, you know what? Colin's got a screw loose.
So tighten him up.
I gotta go.
Hey, you know, Grady said that he turned in his collections, but I didn't see him.
Some expenses came up. I used it.
As you're walking up energy. Right. So and I would walk all the way to here, and then I would stop. Okay. Right.
I'll stop there.
Yeah. Just
Rolling. Quiet, please.
35, take 1. Charlie Murph.
No, we're doing hold.
halfway across the street, take them off.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you, though, for the reminder.
Set.
We're rolling. We're going to clear
Rolling.
we're feeling that you're lifting him up, right? That you're like, we have our first scene with you guys in the band, and we'll get to that. But this is the first time that we start to understand why he's looking up to you so much. And because when stuff is like this, when it's really like dark and weak.
What did Richie say?
Just condolences.
Not exactly dressed for a funeral.
The bitch fell. I'm not sorry.
You hungry? I think that looked great. That looks as great as I saw.
Already? Because if they look like they're floating already, that kind of defeats the purpose of them being weighted, right?
Facing out towards the lake.
Yep. Well, if you flex your arm muscles, it'll look like you're holding.
I am flexing my arm muscles.
Oh.
They're getting out tomorrow. The Westies. All that work, the beating we took, and they served 16 months.
Brother, they get out, we nail them again. All right? And again, and their wives too. Every last one of them if we have to. That's it.
You got it. So sweet.
And rolling.
Love you, three girls. I love you, three girls.
Sound speeds.
As a group.
58 apple, take one. Amen.
Set.
And act.
I don't know what you want from me. I don't control every little thing Jackie does.
That right.
That's right.
What are you saying? What should we do?
Run.
This is survival, okay? The neighborhood will back us. We get a little bigger, maybe we go into loan sharking. We might go places our husbands never got. Let's get ours.
I didn't do anything.
What do you got for you, baby? What?
They're robbing a liquor store.
They've done a few of them.
No, they couldn't. Jimmy always tells me.
3. This would have been the 4th.
They're doing it in our own neighborhood?
Only the newcomers, not to Irish home.
Did you know?
Our Hasidic partners went with us because they know it's good business.
The one you shot dead on the stoop, I bet he doesn't think so.
We don't shoot people. It's your world.
Well, I know your guy gave rails waiting outside for you.
Cut.
Tail 6. Tails.
Check the gate.
Marker.
Where to go again? Right away.
Tim, I'll work it backwards for you this one.
We want more. 32nd up to 59th, east and west.
You know what you're asking?
Yeah, I do. You got our backs?
Easy. Maybe the Jews went with you because all your womanhood got under their skin.
Prosperity. That's how you have a dance party, baby. Yeah.
So good. So adorable. That was such a warm night.
Hey, that's a wrap.
Gates are good?
All right, thank you, everybody. Fabulous job. That's a wrap.
I liked the trajectory of the women characters, kind of surprisingly taking on the roles that are typically played by men in this type of a genre film. And they go there, they go to the extreme, which was refreshing and surprising, and really kept me very interested to see, what was going to happen in the story. It's a testament not only to this particular story, but also just the fact that, it is not typical fare to see, three strong women, but also in a way that you wouldn't expect three strong women to behave in an extremely violent and, more than capable way of dealing with these rogues and ne'er-do-wells. Jimmy Brennan is married to Kathy Brennan. They have two children. They are, tried and true New York residents, have been living in Hell's Kitchen for quite some time, and are, at least he is involved and ensconced in the world of, the underbelly of how things operate in that little turf. And, but their relationship, I think, is unique in this movie in that while he may be doing things that are not above board, the story and the script is, I think, very good at highlighting the fact that this is a couple that really loves each other, that are dedicated to their family, and are trying their best to deal with whatever's happening in their world. And in 1978 New York City, there's a lot of things kind of compressing against this little small corner of the world. And that plays itself out in terms of the decisions that Jimmy makes and the things that he gets involved in, and then also how Kathy deals with his absence while he's incarcerated. It's always really impressive when someone who's doing this for the first time, doing this meaning directing a film for the first time, clearly she's no stranger to making a movie, but directing one is such a daunting task from where I sit. And she's doing it with such grace and such confidence that it really is a benefit to me and everybody else, because she's a terrific leader. I mean, as a fan and now as someone who's working with her, she's just a remarkable person. So I'm happy that I get to work with her. I'd never met Tiffany. I'd met Elisabeth a couple of times in New York. It's always nice when you have a little bit of just a little bit of a touchstone on somebody that you admire so much, like Melissa. And and Tiffany and Elisabeth. They're all so incredible
I
at what
think
they
Gabriel's
do.
taken on by the ladies for a couple of reasons. One is that he's very, very good at what he does. So he can disappear people, he can kill people, he can offer them. He's got experience doing those things, which they don't have at the start of the movie. And then the other thing, I suppose, which Andrea kind of told me about, which I hadn't really thought about, was that he offers them some street cred right at the beginning, because people locally would be, if not scared, then certainly wary of what Gabriel's capable of. And so he lends them a certain reputation immediately before they've had a chance to earn one for themselves. What I was interested by with them, and it was something that myself and Elisabeth talked about right away, was the notion that they're kind of an odd couple. They're in their own little world. I think when he meets her, she's in the worst situation a person can be in, probably. I don't think he feels like a savior. Doesn't feel like that's what he is, even though he does save her at the start of the thing. And I think that means that the power balance between them is absolutely even all the way through. I think he's actually very willing to say, look, whatever you want to do, I'll do and I'll follow. You know, I think she's probably the more ambitious of the two. And I just think they find or build themselves a little world where the two of them can be happy in their very individual way. The great actors you work with make it easy, you know. They make you better and they make it look easy despite all the work that you know has gone into it. And Elisabeth's one of those, you know. I've been really lucky to work with some of the best actors in the world, and the choices she's made and the talent she's pushed to, like, get everything from, I think, is sort of stunning. And yeah, it didn't surprise me at all that she was really, I'd heard really nice things about working with her. I knew a couple people who'd worked with her, just heard great things. So I was excited, and yeah, she's been wonderful and just lovely to get along with as well, which is great. They're relaxed, they're good to go, and then when they call action, they smack right into gear and do everything it needs to be and more. And I've loved being around them, you know, like it's been great to turn up to set, because I'm only in like 12 days. Every time I come on, I know I'm going to have fun, and I know I'm going to be around some pretty great acting. So like that's best of both worlds.
Maybe not the best boss, you know what I mean? I don't know. I kind of feel like the wife is a little bit of the boss and his mom's the boss, you know, but Kevin's, he's a big violent man, you know, and but Tiffany has so much power, and she has so much presence herself as an actress, and I wanted to be able to match that, you know. And I see Kevin as kind of like a lightning rod, you know. He's thin, he's intense, and hopefully you can see why these two actually got together, because I think, you know, that's the idea that okay, maybe they're not getting along well now, you know, but that Kevin and Ruby really did have an intense relationship. And on some level, they did understand each other, you know. I'd never met her before. But, you know, I love working with her. I mean, the first thing she ever said to me when we come in for rehearsal, and she goes, what's up, hubby? I was like, what's up, wifey? And she's like, yeah, okay, we're gonna get along. Yeah. She's great. She's just a really talented woman, and really fun to be around, and yeah, we have a good time. Andrea's so wonderful. So she wrote the script, and she's directing, and she has a really specific idea. I love working with her as an actor. She lets me run with it until I do something really stupid, and then she corrects me over here. And her direction is very specific, and it's poignant, and it's something that you can just kind of lock into that and run with it, and we have fun. You know, it's fun taking something on the page and bringing it to life and then filming it, and it's always beautiful to me to see a director who enjoys that process, you know, and there's a little twinkle in her eye after we complete a scene. It's like, yeah, we did something cool, you know?
I would say in Rob's role in our little crew is, there's definitely he's the guy that's willing to do the ugly stuff. And, you know, as we'll see in these, this robbery scene, you know, some of that probably is a bit of a release for a lot of his rage and disappointment. Yeah, certainly not the brains of the operation. First of all, Andrea's writing is excellent. She's part of a group of pals that are a couple other writers I've worked with that are admired by a great many people. And I also appreciate her light touch as a director. She delegates really well from my observation. She's, you know, that stuff really trickles down on a set, you know, and the vibe is very constructive. It's very peaceful and calm, and it's a place where everybody can do their best takes, you know. It's not always the way.
Incredible comic book, as we know, written by Ollie Masters and drawn by Ming Doyle, and I was so inspired by it and really thought that the opportunity to tell a story about three women who have a chance to take over a world that isn't necessarily theirs and that they're not necessarily welcomed in was really exciting and fresh and felt different than everything else I was reading at the time. This was February 2016 that New Line sent me the comic book, and I just got incredibly excited by the opportunities that I thought the material presented. I was really blown away. You know, mob movies are amongst my favorite types of movies, and so the opportunity to find myself and the women that I know in an organic way in that world was just too good of an opportunity to pass up. Starting with Melissa, I mean, how just on paper, can you imagine how exciting it is to imagine Melissa playing Kathy? I was completely thrilled with the idea. And then, of course, it was like, would she really want to do that? You know, there was that question of, is this something that, you know, America's beloved Melissa McCarthy would even want to tackle? It's a huge leap for her. And of course, she's done it with like more skill and tact and grace and talent than everybody, you know. I think she's really going to blow everybody away. I, you know, have been a tremendous fan of hers forever and ever. And she's an incredible talent, and I have believed deeply, deeply in how talented she is for a very long time. And I just knew that there was not going to be a problem here, that she was going to nail it, and she has in every way, shape, and form. And I'm just so lucky to have her. You know, if you're ever going to be a first-time director, my big recommendation is to work with Melissa, Tiffany, and Lizzie, because they make me look good every day. They're all so phenomenally talented. Tiffany, you know, I love to pieces, and she... when we first started talking about her doing this role, the second I sat down with her and she started talking about why she wanted to do Ruby, I just thought, within 3 words, I just thought to myself, she's Ruby. There was no question in my mind, you know, that she was just, Tiffany obviously is, you know, one of the funniest ladies around, but she also has such depth to her and soul and passion and is so smart and has such a vision for what she wants out of her life and for herself. And never for a second did I doubt that she was going to absolutely nail Ruby. Let me be clear. We have no wilting roses on set here. Everybody's very strong. I mean, you know, Lizzie and Melissa and Tiffany are fierce, amazing, passionate women, and I think it's obviously so apparent in the job that they do, and hysterically funny. You know, I like, there's a piece of me, you know, Lizzie's delivery on a couple of lines is hysterical, and I can't wait for people to realize, like, she's just as funny as Tiffany and Melissa. She's spectacularly talented, and not for a second does she, you know, do anything other than 10,000% of amazingness. So, you know, she's delightful and lovable, and I think that each in their own way have found their own voice beyond what I put down on the page, have brought these characters to life in ways that I never could have imagined. And they, you know, they're amazing. And part of what I have found most surprising and most absolutely thrilling is how much they genuinely like each other and how much fun they're having together. And you can't manufacture that. And I think that the passion that people are going to see in the movie is a lot because they just genuinely like each other and are enjoying being together. It's not enough just to have 3 amazing women. The deep, deep bench of men that we have here is incredible. You know, Domhnall is, I think, truly one of the best young actors out there. And the idea of seeing him in this kind of fierce, you know, violent role was incredibly exciting to me from the get-go. He's incredibly talented, super specific in his acting, charming, handsome, all of that. But, very also soulful and deep, and I think can communicate a lot. Gabriel's not a man of many words, and I knew that he'd be able to communicate a lot without actually having to say a lot of words. Common, Mr. Common, who creates a ruckus on the streets wherever we go because people love Common so much. He's amazing. He, that role could have gone multiple ways in terms of the casting. And the second the first day I met Common, just thought to myself, I would be a complete fool to not work with Common. One of the most talented men I've ever met. I mean, he's a multi-talented between being a recording artist, a writer himself, an actor. The man has talent spilling out of his ears and, has brought such a fierce intensity to that role and has completely elevated what could have just been a run-of-the-mill FBI agent part off the page and has, I just think, set that world on fire. We really put ourselves out there and put ourselves in the middle of the city, and it feeds you. That energy that you get from shooting in public and shooting on the streets and shooting amongst people and with the real horns and the real pollution and the real sounds and smells and feeling and humidity. We've largely shot this in the summer time, even when I had the poor ladies out there in their winter coats. You can't double in the streets of another city. I'm so grateful that we got the opportunity to shoot this here because it really
Every time I tell my friends I'm in a film with Melissa and Tiffany, they're like, "Oh, it's a comedy." I'm like, "Nah, it's a full-fledged like drama thriller film," and for it to go to that dark place, I just was really excited about seeing them go there, like seeing like Tiffany go to a place where it's like a lot of heavy things going on and having to maneuver and be this mastermind, and seeing Melissa deal with all the things, like having a relationship that you really care about, but then seeing your husband fail you and have to go to those places and even find the betrayal of somebody that you're working with. It's just a lot of complex things going on, and to see these actors who we know in most instances to be comedic and do comedic work, you just know they can go to those dark places. I love when great comic actors go to the dark places, and I really believe Melissa and Tiffany will take it there. They're taking it there. I have a song I wrote that was called "The Day the Women Took Over," and it was like, as I read this script, it made me think about, like, when I'm talking about how Ruby and Kathy and Claire all run this organization better, it's just like, man, sometimes the women just do it better. You just gotta say it is that's the truth. You just gotta acknowledge it and respect it. So I think, with Ruby and Kathy and Claire taking it, the ladies taking it to that level, Silvers didn't know it was gonna go there. First of all, I really love Andrea's writing and her taste and vision. When I first got to meet with her to actually want to be a part of the film, like hoping she would select me for the role of Silvers, our conversation was let me know that I really wanted to work with her. It was something about her perspective on Silvers and this story, and not being like so overt with some of the underlying core and message of it. And I just felt like, yo, you wrote this, then I can't wait till you direct this. And from that experience now of me being able to work with her as a director has been really great, because it's scenes that I'm doing that it's certain things that I just don't think of and don't think about doing it that way. And she'll just come subtly say, oh, just try it like this. And it just gives you a whole another dimension and dynamic. And I always want to work with artists and creators who we can lift each other. And I feel like Andrea has lifted me. When I came to set my first day, I said, I was, first of all, proud and kind of like, wow, I'm in a film that's actually walking the walk. Yeah, and I felt like, of course, Andrea is doing this, and that's what should be done. I really am grateful. I felt proud and grateful and happy and kind of just inspired to see that our DP was a woman, to see that our AD was a woman, our director, obviously, and just so many women in power positions on this film. It just was an example of, okay, we hear about inclusiveness and we hear about these things that people want to do, but now I'm getting to see it and be a part of it. And I felt, I feel grateful. And I feel like, yes, to be a part of this time is a
Honestly,
joyous
I love
thing.
the idea of a film that is about three very different women that are not stereotypical and each have strengths and weaknesses, in their own ways. They're not superheroes. They're not villains. They're not, they're flawed and they're real women. And yet they're leading this story. And that combined with, female writer-director, female DP, and all of that kind of thing it was very, very enticing. I think theme-wise for me, as far as Claire goes, the idea of a woman finding her power in a very unusual way, be who she wants to be, and then finding her strength in this way that is, debatably a good way to be strong. But she does find it, and she is a very, kind of intelligent person, and I felt like she wasn't your stereotypical kind of arc of somebody who's like a bit of a wallflower and then all of a sudden becomes a hit woman. I felt like she always had a strength to her, and she always had that inside her and had that anger inside her as well, which I thought was unusual and challenging to play. So for me, the theme of somebody who finds their strength, and it has nothing to do with a man. It has nothing to do with a man handing it to them, but finding it herself. I think he obviously sees this woman who is capable of doing what very few people can do and what he's very good at, and she ends up being really good at it. And if they are completely in love. They're sort of two weirdos, They're like they're these two really strange people who find each other, and who maybe I don't know who they would be good for except for themselves, except for each other, I think it's really cool casting in the sense of, it's three different women, three different backgrounds, and we all are so different in the careers that we've had. But at the same time, when you put us together, it doesn't look wrong. There's something really right about it. And we all really get along, thank God. Because we all have to be together a lot. And we really do get along. And it was from the very beginning. There was no weird, awkward getting to know each other, period. Obviously, we know each other better than we did first day, but first day, I remember just looking at furniture with Melissa, and we were all advising her on something to get for her house, and we immediately fell into this friendship, the three of us. And there's also a lot of mutual respect for each other and the work that we've done. A lot of good communication. Everyone's very professional, So there's no drama. It's been a really incredible experience working with the two of them. Which when I heard about this movie, that was one of the first things I heard was it was Melissa and Tiffany, and I was like, oh, yes. I was like, yes. What do I do? That sounds amazing. I adore the both of them. She is positive, strong, centered. You cannot throw her. and she is 100% performance-based. That is the most important thing to her. There can be this happening, and well, we're on a street, and we're doing this, and I'm in the water, and we're like, there's like all this crazy. It's a big movie, you know? Sometimes there's a lot of extras, and it's like, sometimes there's a lot going on, and it's like nothing of that's happening, and she just comes up to you and gives you this great idea or this thought, or let's try this. And I can't tell you how many times I've said to her, that's a great idea. Like, yeah, let me try that. That's great. And I think there's no doubt in my mind why she was the right person to do this. If you're gonna make a movie about 3 women who are empowered and taking over these very atypical male roles in this time period, you gotta back it up. You gotta put your money where your mouth is, you know? And there's nothing else to do but make sure there's a lot of women behind that camera supporting that idea, besides the fact that I think we're all very, very, you know, insistent on the idea that we level out those male-female ratios in film and television. So, you know, there's no way you couldn't have it any other way. And you gotta go, you know, we gotta hand it to our male producers and New Line and Warner Brothers for fully supporting that, I mean, that's exactly what we need people like that to be doing.
About women, and it's about the power of women, and this Helen is a woman of another time period who was incredibly powerful. However, she did it quietly and let men be the front guys. These women, the new breed, it's all about them. I like that. She is sweet, number one, sweet to the core, and she is a loose cannon, which I love, and she wants to learn. She wants to absorb and learn, and I would just think she's fantastic. She's incredibly supportive, and she knows what she wants. And that's the best thing you can say about a director, is that they have a vision and they know what they want. I think she has a huge future in directing.
Great way to inspire women. What a great way to show that, like, if you work together as a team, you can create and have whatever it is you want. And, like, to me, those are the type of scripts that really, like, make me feel good, is where, like, women are supporting each other, looking out for each other. And there might be a little drama here and there, but in order to grow as a woman, you need other women. You know, you really do. And so it just resonated with me so much, because also Ruby is so strong. And at first she's playing like, you know, she doesn't know anything, she's kind of weak or whatever. But she masterminds so much of what's going on. And I love that about her, because I feel like that's what I've done with my career. To me, it is extremely interesting and exciting that, you know, it's Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish. I know people are gonna see those 2 names together and think, oh, this is gonna be so funny. And when they see it, I mean, it has its moments of comedy, but this is a drama. And like every good drama has its moments where you can laugh out loud. But it is a drama, and we are playing it very straight and very much so. And I personally am so excited to show like my other side, and I know Melissa is too, and just show people like, you know, yeah, we're funny, but also we're human, and we go through things, and all humans go through things, and there's really funny moments, and there's moments that aren't so funny, and it's how you deal with it, right? And so I'm excited to see what the world has to say about it. I'm excited to show this different side. Ruby just wants to have the best life possible, and she wants to feel like she's empowered and that she has some sort of power and some sort of control over her life. And for a woman in the 70s, you know, it is difficult, okay? It is difficult in a man's world. It's difficult just being human, period, let alone being surrounded by a bunch of criminals, you know? And trying to figure out a way, how can I empower myself and these other women? How can we establish ourselves in such a way that, you know, we get to say how we live. We get to say what's right, what's wrong, you know? And Ruby strategically paid attention. She learned, she studied, she saw how things operated. She, you know, she was very cunning about it. The 3 women in this movie, they have to come together because their husbands have gone to jail. And they meet each other and know each other because of their husbands. And they come from very different backgrounds, you know, very different upbringings. And they all find something, a common ground that they're able to work together on, and that is to be able to survive, which I think a lot of women, when they're put to the test, it's like, okay, this is survival of the fittest. You guys, if we stick together, we can make this happen. And maybe we got our differences, and maybe we do things a little differently than each other, but if we work together and communicate with each other, we can make this happen. And some people Ruby sometimes might overstep her boundaries, you know, and just do things and be like, girl, don't worry about it. It's gonna work out. Don't worry about it. I got this. Working with Andrea has been absolutely amazing. She is so compassionate, understanding, excellent at communicating her thoughts and ideas to us, where it's like, oh, okay, I get what she's saying. I can portray this. And if we ask, like, can we get one more take? She's like, sure. And if we feel like we got enough takes, and we're like, check the gate. She's like, okay, check the gate, move on. Yeah, we got it. So, and we laugh together, and I feel like she's really helping me grow as an actress and giving me such a better understanding of character development and the fact that she wrote this movie, and so she has the understanding of the essence and the power of each one of these characters, and she definitely knows how to convey that. And to me, she's an angel. I love her.
FuturePreviews.com. Whoa! Go behind the scenes of movies. Subscribe to Future Flicks YouTube channel.